It'll be an unsettling weekend for the city of Brooks. Workers at the community's largest employer admit they're apprehensive about the meat plant's temporary shutdown.
That's about 2,500 people work there.
She said that there's no work today.
Less hours.
We heard that it's shut until Monday by the government.
XL Foods is considered the lifeblood of the city's economy, so there's little doubt the work stops.
The money isn't coming in the way it wants or should be, so it's bad for stores and the whole economy locally. It's no good.
City officials say they're resilient and will recover from a short-term shutdown, but the uncertainty still looms.
2 paychecks and you got a real problem. So that's the mortgages, that's the vehicle payment, that's the groceries in a hurry. So absolutely we would be very concerned any extended time period for the residents in our community that work in that industry.
Nielsen Brothers, Inc., the parent company of XL Foods, continues to ignore media requests to personally address concerns from the public. But Brian Nielsen and his brother are apparently talking to officials.
Yes, I've spoken personally to the heads of the company on more than one occasion. We've had a cooperative relationship with the company in the last little while.
A communications expert calls the company's handling of the food safety scare shocking.
My opinion is they should have been the first people to speak and to get in front of the train instead of behind it. So I think that's hurt them a lot.
How much it will hurt them and Alberta's beef industry won't be clear until the plant starts slaughtering again.
There's now 6 confirmed cases of E. coli connected to contaminated XL beef. The latest is from Newfoundland. The other 5 are here in Alberta. Some employees at the XL plant claim one of the contamination sources is unsanitary conditions for workers.
If they have to go to the washroom and there's human waste in the way and there's big floods all over from these toilets that have overflowed, they'll just walk through it. And this has led to where they've had infestations of cockroaches and things of this nature. So it is not a clean plant.
The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says it will investigate those allegations, but so far has found no such evidence.
Nothing of that sort has been noted to date in terms of those observations made by the XL plant employees.
XL Foods did not make itself available for comment Friday. The federal government cannot predict when the XL plant will reopen.
There is no timeline. The plant must prove to CFIA that their operations are safe. CFIA will absolutely not allow the reopening of that plant until things are safe, no matter how long that takes.
With XL shut down, another meatpacking operation is stepping up its beef production.
People familiar with what happens inside are not surprised that XL Foods is now at the center of an E. coli scandal. Kyle Salakin used to work there before opening his own butcher shop in Saskatchewan.
Processing came first, all the time. That was number one, was processing. It wasn't cleaning, it wasn't safety, it wasn't the people working there. It was processing.
Hygiene and maintenance are common themes raised by current and former employees and contractors. According to sources, workers in the plant ignoring basic rules like hand washing and wearing hairnets. One industrial contractor who had a contract to work in the plant said he was disgusted by what he saw on conveyor lines.
Products and pieces of meat that have been that have fallen by the wayside, so to speak, stuck to the bottom of the machine, and judging by the condition of it, had been there for some time.
In a statement, the company said its food safety protocols were not enough. No one in the company has spoken directly to the media, but
And Francis, the public too hasn't heard very much from XL Foods. They don't appear to have a spokesperson or seem willing to answer direct questions. Any sign of that changing?
Well, I think you can describe the company's public relations policy as fairly hands-off. While they have accepted full responsibility for the situation, they've refused to answer direct questions from the media, issuing only a handful of written statements. And as you can see, this is as close as we can get to the actual facility. Now, there are also some questions being raised by the union representing workers inside the plant. They say they're also having challenges getting questions answered by the company and have scheduled a news conference for tomorrow to detail some of the problems they believe led to the E. coli outbreak in the first place that they say have yet to even be addressed. Donna?
All right, Francis Silvaggio near the XL Food plant in Brooks, Alberta. Thanks.
In a statement Tuesday, CEO Brian Nelson welcomed the formal review. He says the plant has fixed food safety mistakes linked to an E. coli outbreak that made at least 11 people sick and led to the suspension of its license September 25th.
A lot of people from overseas, most people just directly come to here work. Now they get no job, what are they going to do?
Many of the plant's 2,200 employees are showing up at Service Canada to apply for EI. Quality control workers are back on the job, but kill floor and processing staff are still waiting for word.
I support all my family. I have a wife and I have a kid. So only that's the problem I'm worried.
After being cleared by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to resume limited operations last week, another setback for XL Foods.
Through this last few weeks, it's been a time of uncertainty, and it really has been. And if people say, hey, there's a job over there that's more certain in another community, that would probably, you would understand why they would leave to do that. We hope they don't.
The temporary layoff notices for 2,000 employees coming Saturday, with XL Foods saying it cannot continue to pay its employees because the CFIA has not given it a timeline on when it can open.
I want to work, so I don't want to shut down the company. I want the plants running.
Initially, XL Foods stopped cutting carcasses on Saturday, a key component to finishing the CFI's assessment and reopening the plant. However, on Sunday, Alberta's agricultural minister confirmed that XL Foods was back on board.
Mr. Nelson told me this morning that they are putting a shift back on to make sure that that's all done. So I was happy to hear that.
XL Foods recalling the temporary layoff notices for 800 employees, allowing them to return to work on Tuesday.
The CFI will work with XL Foods to come to some sort of understanding to complete the assessment when they are ready to begin processing again.
Meanwhile, the union that represents the plant's 2,200 workers says the owners need to start answering some tough questions.
Most people in Brooks live paycheck to paycheck. They'll get paid this week for last week, but next week they'll have no money. And so it's a disaster. And humanly, the Nielsen brothers have done such a terrible job of PR on this.
A little bit of uncertainty as to when is this all going to be resolved. The when is the big question.
For now, the short-term focus in Brooks is making sure employees start receiving employment insurance benefits as quickly as possible so they can hopefully wait out their uncertain futures. Tracy Nagai, Global News.
They're very silent, so all we have to go on is what we're hearing and the perceptions that we have of an organization that seems to be saying one thing, doing another, and it's very confusing, I think, to consumers.
The University of Calgary's Debbie Andrus specializes in marketing. She says XL made a strategic error in not coming forward with more information on the E. coli scare.
I don't know if this is the way in which they operate or always operate. We can only make assumptions, and one should never, in a crisis, want other people making assumptions.
Alberta's agriculture minister toured the Cargill processing plant near High River Monday. The